Yeah, we're in line. We're getting on the boat. What do you girls think? Well, hey, we made it just in time.
Just in time.
Guess what we're doing today? Today, you guys, we are taking the dogs on an adventure to Mackinac Island. This trip actually happened during the lilac season on the island, so you might see some pretty purple flowers in this video. Mackinac Island is a small little island located in the Straits of Mackinac on Lake Huron here in northern Michigan. And there's only one way to get to this island. You take a ferry. We took the Shepler's Ferry line as they do allow dogs on the boat. And as you can see here, the dogs absolutely loved the ferry ride. It was Eleanor's first time on a boat. And yes, our friend Thor from Thor Unleashed joined us on this trip as well. So when you spot a fourth Husky in this video, that's who it is. So going to Mackinac Island is almost like stepping back in time. There are no cars, minus a few emergency vehicles, allowed on the island. Everyone gets around by walking or riding a bike or by horse and carriage.
What is that?
For those wondering, Mackinac Island is very dog friendly, but remember, if you do decide to visit, be respectful of the horses that are working on the island. The horses could have cared less about our dogs. They're pretty desensitized to all of these things. This was Eleanor's first trip to the island, and it was her first time really seeing horses up close, so she wasn't super sure about what to do with these quote-unquote big dogs. But after seeing them over and over and over, she finally decided that they were not a threat to her, and she began ignoring them, which is exactly what we wanted to happen. So one of the reasons that I really love bringing the dogs here is there are miles and miles of trails to hike on and tons of places to explore. We started off, of course, walking through downtown Mackinac as the ferry lets you off, and that's pretty much where you end up. So we walked through downtown and then we headed to some of the back trails on the island. I really like to get off the main trail and onto those back trails because there's shade and there's a little bit less people. It can be a little bit less chaotic. Sometimes right in downtown Mackinac there can be a lot of people. So we headed out of downtown and we made a stop at the Water Cooler Cafe, and we got this giant pastry that looked like a Pop-Tart, and of course the dogs got a bite. And then we headed up a bunch of steps to get to the upper part of the island. The island does have a lot of hills, and e-bikes are not allowed if you visit, so be prepared for that. There's a lot of hills, there can be a lot of steps, but again, there's a lot of different ways you can get around on the island. We chose to hike. We hiked all the way to Arch Rock, which is one of the little tourist attraction places on the island.
We made it to Arch Rock. That's right here. So this is where we walked out to. This is Arch Rock. You can see all the way down to the water down there.
And then we took the back trails to Sugarloaf Rock. Again, just another big rock on the island, but it's a really pretty walk to get there. More and more steps, more hills. We made it to the top of the island to one of the old forts, which offered a really, really pretty view. You could see the Mackinac Bridge, you could see downtown. It was really kind of cool. And then we continued hiking down the trails, and side note here, always give the horses the right of way. Whenever you're walking on Mackinac Island, give those horses the right of way. It is much harder for the horses to stop than it is for you to get out of their way. So we kept on hiking and we made our way to what is known as the Grand Hill. And at the bottom of the Grand Hill is the Grand Hotel. Now, if you've never been to the island and you don't know what the Grand Hotel is, the Grand Hotel is this huge hotel. It is the focal point of the island. The Grand Hotel opened in 1887, and at that time it cost like $3 to $5 a night to stay at, compared to now where I believe the rooms are like $350 and up. This place has the world's largest front porch, which is 660 feet long. All of the rooms in this hotel are decorated differently, but dogs are not allowed inside this hotel, so we didn't get to take the girls inside. But I have a friend of mine who has a video of some of the shots of inside the hotel, which I will link down below if you would like to see it. Many presidents have stayed here, lots of famous people have stayed here. There were a few movies filmed on the island, so the hotel has a lot of history. And if you do come to the island and you've never been inside of it, you can pay $10 to go inside the hotel, even if you're not staying there. We hiked just over 8 miles in the 5 hours we spent on the island with the dogs. Now, if we would have just walked around the edge of the island, it's 8 miles to walk all the way around the edge of the island, which you can also choose to do. But we spent about 5 hours on the island, walked 8 miles. The dogs all did amazing. They had such a good time. This is a very, very dog-friendly spot. You really can spend quite a few hours here biking around, hiking around, seeing a lot of things. Dogs are allowed on the ferries. They're allowed in many of the shops downtown. Always ask before taking your dogs in, and of course, the food shops usually they aren't allowed in. There are also many restaurants with patios for outside eating that allow dogs, and they're even allowed on some of the horse-drawn carriage rides and tours. Again, always ask to be sure. You can also rent bikes, and you can rent dog trailers if your dogs like to ride in a trailer, and you can bike the island with your dogs in a trailer. If you guys would like to see a longer version of our trip to the island, we actually uploaded it over on our vlog channel, Snow Dogs Vlogs, and I will put a link down in the video description below. This was an absolutely great trip, and I think we will try to do it again in the fall with the dogs. All of the dogs did so good. For it being Eleanor's first time, she really did good on the island. So we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. As always, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Stay positive, dream big, and we will see you again soon. Goodbye, audience.